Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we have SummerSlam results. Just got done watching the show. What a show! One of my favorite shows of the year. Yeah, just phenomenal matches, some great storytelling. Right winners, in my opinion, were pretty much every match. But yeah, really loved it.
Yeah, really good pay-per-view from top to bottom. Every match had its story kind of built into it beforehand, so there was a story going into it, and stories kind of got wrapped up here or escalated to whatever the next part of that story is going to be. And with the first match, you kind of jump straight into that, and that's the Liv Morgan Rhea Ripley match for the Women's World Title, obviously. Rhea comes out with Dom. They have this big entrance together, walking out. They're holding hands, doing the whole couple thing, walking down the ramp and everything. Obviously, Liv Morgan comes out. She's by herself. No Finn Balor. No none of that. And straight away, it just starts off very slow with Liv Morgan kind of running away while Rhea Ripley's chasing her down, trying to get to her. But yeah, I'll kind of let you get into the rest, but that's just kind of painting the picture for how it starts.
Yeah, this match, the start, like you said, was very slow until Rhea finally gets her hands on her, and that's when the things kind of start picking up. Even then, it's still kind of slow. At one point, Liv does like a hurricane run into the ring post, and Rhea hits her shoulder on it, he kind of says, oh, it's popped out, and you think it's dislocated. Eventually, she gets onto the outside, and she rams her arm or her shoulder into the announce table to readjust it or put it back into place. And yeah, that was a bit weird, but after that, they kind of get a little bit into things, and then we start seeing some involvement from Dom.
Yeah, Dom throws a chair in. No. Dom, Liv gets the chair actually, and she acts like she's going to attack Rhea to get the disqualification to retain. Rhea gives her a big boot to kind of avoid it. She falls to the ground, and then as she's down, I believe she hits a riptide as well. And then she goes to get the chair and to hit her, and Dom grabs the chair from her and says, "No, you can't win like this. You won't win the belt." Rhea kind of obviously looks upset by it, and she drops the chair, or he gets the chair, gets put away, and then eventually it goes towards the end of the match. It goes on for a little bit, and Dom once again goes around the ring, distracts the ref on his own while sliding the chair to essentially Liv Morgan, and she does an oblivion to Rhea Ripley on the chair, and she gets the 1, 2, 3. And then once again, I'll let you kind of go towards what happened towards the end. But yeah, that's kind of how she won, and it was just kind of a big surprise because it looked like he was doing everything right. At one point, Liv does a dive from the outside, and Dom kind of pushes Rhea out the way and takes it. So it kind of looked like everything was going good for them, but then this happens.
Yeah, so after Liv is on the ground, she gets up and is kind of picked up by somebody, and you don't know who it is, but then it is Dominic Mysterio kind of aligning himself with her. Ooh, my sneeze. But yeah, he picks her up, and they are aligned with each other. They kiss. Rhea is obviously heartbroken by this. She thought Dominic was her one, but apparently not. So yeah, the pretty much end of Rhea and Dom from 2 SummerSlams ago, with Dom aligning himself with Judgment Day to now leaving Rhea and I guess leaving Judgment Day.
Yeah, and yeah, that was just a not so great match. I didn't really care for the match itself, but obviously the story it told and then the ending to kind of push that story forward into Berlin or even Bad Blood maybe. Just really good storytelling for the match. But the match itself, I will say, not my favorite. Probably my least favorite Rhea Ripley match in the recent time at least. But moving forward to our second match, we have Bron Breakker defeating Sami Zayn in only 5 minutes. But in that 5 minutes, they told a great story, and obviously Bron Breakker is your new Intercontinental Championship and your Continental Champion. Obviously, they did show a moment of his father and his uncle, I guess it would be, in the rafters. They were there to witness him become an Intercontinental Champion, so that was also really cool about this. But yeah, Bron Breakker not squashes Sami Zayn, but I guess the story they told was he learned from their first match after Sami Zayn goes for the haluva kick, and then Bron Breakker hits him with the spear. Knows that's not enough, then goes for a ring rope spear. I don't know what you would call that, but it's another spear. And yeah, he gets the 1, 2, 3 on Sami Zayn.
Yeah, this was crazy. I think everybody wanted to see a Bron Breakker squash, but we didn't want to see it because it was on Sami Zayn. But they did enough to where this looks like a squash on paper because it's only a 6-minute match. And But at the end of the day, if you watch the match, you'll see that Sami Zayn put up a fight. But the only thing that was different between this and the last match is just, like you said, Braun Breaker learned, watched the film, took that into play here, and that's how he walks out the new champion. But yeah, really enjoyed this. Like I said, unfortunately for Sami, sucks. I don't like to see him lose, but that's just how it is. Interested to see what they both have next, though.
Yeah, for sure. And then going into our third match, we have LA Knight defeating Logan Paul and becoming your new United States champion. And this might just be my favorite match of the night and Logan Paul's best match of his career. Maybe even LA Knight's best match of his career as well. Arguable with him. But with Logan Paul, I feel like this is, without a doubt, his best match. I feel like he showed off what he's learned throughout all his time being champion and whatnot. And this is kind of his big showing off moment of what he could do in the ring.
Yeah, they start out hot. They start swinging on each other before the bell even rings. So for this match is really like another 3 minutes longer. They do a spot where at first I thought he was about to do a burning hammer, LA Knight to Logan Paul on the announce table, but then he just does like a neck breaker. Table doesn't break. Was like almost like a big thud moment as well. It looked like it hurt really bad. But then they finally get in the ring, and yeah, they just go crazy after one another. One point, LA Knight he goes from the top or the middle rope, does a box spring jump onto the top rope into a elbow drop on Logan. Then we see Logan do a springboard moonsault to the outside onto LA Knight. And then LA Knight does his big jump onto the top turnbuckle and does kind of a brainbuster almost, which is an insane bump for both men, which is, one of my favorite spots of the night, really. And yeah, LA Knight does get the win after some involvement from MGK, but yeah.
Yeah, Logan Paul does get some brass knuckles from MGK that he was wearing on a chain. LA Knight goes to do like a backbreaker of some sort from the outside to the inside of the ring. And as he's in the air about to get slammed, he hits him one time in the head. Logan Paul goes to kind of take advantage of that in the ring, but LA Knight hits the BFT, wins the match. And yeah, LA Knight's your United States champion. Crowd popped tremendously for this. Very good match. The right person won, obviously. Finally, LA Knight gets his big moment.
Yeah, I'm glad that LA Knight's finally the champion. This Logan Paul reign has not been my favorite at all. I get that he's a mega star, so he's kind of allowed to miss a few dates, but 2 title matches in almost a year is kind of crazy in my opinion. And yeah, I'm just glad LA Knight's finally getting his big moment.
Yeah, and then going on to our fourth match, and if the last match wasn't my favorite match of the night, this is also a contender for it, and that is Nia Jax defeating Bayley for the Women's World Championship. And yeah, just a really good match altogether. Nia Jax just really showing kind of her improvement that she made over time. Bayley bringing out a lot of old things from her career, even brought out like a kind of hugger Bayley sort of gear. But yeah, just a fantastic match. Probably Bayley's best match since becoming champion. And Nia Jax probably one of her best matches of her career, maybe. But yeah, really good match, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, really loved this one. At one point, we see Nia, she hits a bonsai drop, but Bayley kicks out of that one. And then another point, as Nia's on for another one, Bayley picks her up, does a power bomb, which was crazy to see. We did see Tiffany get involved, but Bayley was able to defend her off fairly quick. And that's pretty much all we've seen of Tiffany. But yeah, this was amazing. Nia does 2 bonsai drops to pretty much finish off Bayley and get the win. Happy for her. This was, in my opinion, another right call. Unfortunate for Bayley. I wanted to see better and more from her, but as how SmackDown's women's roster sits, it's kind of is really good at Nia's the chick because there's so many babyface women on the roster right now.
Yeah, for sure. And then moving into our next match, and the big talking point of the match before it happened and probably after as well. But we have Drew McIntyre defeating CM Punk in a singles match with Seth Rollins as a special guest referee. Now this match, everybody had really high hopes for this match, including myself as well. CM Punk being one of my favorites of all time, and Drew McIntyre quickly rising up the ranks on some of my favorites. But yeah, Drew McIntyre, CM Punk, really good match. Told the story that it needed to tell as far as involving Seth Rollins, pushing for the Punk Seth Rollins, the Drew Seth Rollins, just the whole triangle of feuds, basically just kind of building the whole triangle up to a boiling point where we assume it'll pay off at potentially the next pay-per-view or somewhere down the line.
Yeah, this, in my opinion, I know a lot of people are kind of torn between it. They really loved it, or they think it kind of fell flat. I personally really loved it. I think it did everything that it had to do. It got Drew over massively. He gets the win. At one point in the match, we did see CM Punk finally get the bracelet back, but then after the match is won by Drew, he pulls it back off and still holds the bracelet, which is kind of the championship that's on the line here. I know it's not a real championship, but to CM Punk, that means more than a championship to him. So yeah, I think it got that done for the storytelling. We did see more CM Punk and Seth Rollins story development, which again is another big point of this match. And yeah, I think it just did everything that it had to do. So.
Yeah, one of the cool things that I will say is everybody beforehand, on screen from WWE and the fans included, is what's Drew McIntyre gonna do? Is he gonna get out of focus again and lose focus and become unhinged again? But it kind of turned out to be the reverse, and CM Punk was the one that just wasn't necessarily focused on the win as much as Drew McIntyre was. He cared more about the bracelet than the win in a way. The turning point was kind of Seth Rollins after Drew McIntyre. I believe he hits him with a Claymore, and the bracelet goes flying off out of his hands after he picked it up. And Seth kind of picks it up and puts it on his arm just kind of nonchalantly. Didn't really show it off to the crowd or anything when he did it, but he just kind of picks it up, puts it on his wrist to continue doing, reffing the match essentially. CM Punk sees him with it, that gets him upset, and that's pretty much what cost him the match. He also hits Seth Rollins with a GTS, so obviously doing that to the ref isn't going to help your situation. But yeah, it was a really good match. It did tell the story. I wish the match was a little more hardcore or something like that, maybe, although it was a singles match, obviously. But yeah, it did, like you said, tell the story it needed to tell. And yeah, we'll see what the big payoff is at the next pay-per-view.
Yeah, some of my favorite moments of this match is also Seth Rollins' little remarks he would make during the match. At the start, he was CM Punk was hitting Drew McIntyre's head onto the stairs, and Seth was like, "Oh yeah, I don't care. This is fine with me." Kind of turned around and tied his shoe a little bit. At one point, we always had a chair involved, but Seth Rollins did draw the line somewhere, and that was his line. But yeah, really enjoyed this match, and one of my favorite matches of the night.
Yeah, and one more cool spot was Drew McIntyre had CM Punk under the ring and does a slingshot, but he hits the bottom of the ring, the hardest part of the ring, man. But yeah, he does a slingshot into the bottom of the ring. It looked really good. But yeah, match was really good. But another one that could be match of the night, and probably is all around probably gonna be match of the night for most people. That's gonna be Gunther defeating Damian Priest for the World Heavyweight Championship. And I know Gunther's your guy, so I'll let you kind of do a lot of this one.
Yeah, I was very surprised if I'm being completely honest. Did not think he was going to win. If you watch the predictions, we both predicted Damian Priest to get the win here. But yeah, this match showed a more human side, I guess you could say, of Gunther. Damian looked really good in this match. At one point, makes Gunther bleed from chops, which is, something I haven't seen, which is kind of like a cracking of the armor towards Gunther. But yeah, Gunther is pretty much beating the heck out of Damian Priest, and then at one point Finn finally comes out, because before they were trying to look for Dominic, but they couldn't find him, and Damian said, "I'm sorry for kind of yelling at you earlier, my bad." Finn said, "It's okay, if you need me, just let me know." So he comes out, and kind of is, you kind of get that feeling that something that has to happen here, and then as Gunther hits one, he gets the, what would you call it? Just the chokehold, I guess you can say. Gets him in one of those. Damian gets out of that one. He gets him in another one. But Damian finally hits a South of Heaven. He goes for the pin, and Gunther gets his feet on the rope, but it was from the help of Finn Balor. And after that, just a crazy moment, because Damian doesn't realize at first, and then, which is a really cool thing they did, was they made him look at the Jumbotron in the arena showing the replay, which was really cool. I think I like that smart wrestling type of style. But yeah, Damian is beyond he's completely blanked. So yeah, after that, Gunther gets him in another chokehold and wins the match.
Yeah, just a really good match overall. Told a great story, like you said, of Damian Priest. He basically had him beat before Finn Balor puts Gunther's foot on the ropes to help Damian Priest lose, essentially. Like you said, Damian Priest kind of becomes unhinged, goes after Balor and whatnot. But yeah, Damian Priest looked extremely strong. This is the most we've seen Gunther take offense from another just person in the ring in the WWE, at least on the main roster. But yeah, Gunther does win the World Heavyweight title, though it does seem like we'll get a Finn Balor, Damian Priest feud coming soon, but also there's Gunther and Damian, and he's going to win his rematch. So I'm kind of curious what's going to come through with this, because obviously a triple threat match with all three would be amazing. But also a rematch just one-on-one once again would also be amazing. So I'm down with either one.
Yeah, obviously now that we have a pretty much full divide between Judgment Day, we have a whole bunch of like little pieces kind of got to see where they kind of fall right now. We have Rhea by herself now. She's still in Judgment Day, but we have Finn and Damian, who are both Judgment Day, but now they're split from each other, so we don't know who's in Judgment Day, who's out. Carlito and JD are still out of the mix, so we don't know where they fall. I'm assuming with Finn, obviously, but yeah, Monday Night Raw is going to be very, very good.
Yeah, and then into our main event, and the one that everybody is going to be talking about, not because of the match, but because, well, I guess because of the match that happened during the match. Yeah. But we have Cody Rhodes defeating Solo Sikoa in a Bloodline Rules match for the Undisputed title. And yeah, just, I mean, off the rip, just pop from the crowd, obviously from Cody Rhodes, and the entrance and him walking out and getting the jacket from what we found out to be Brandy's mom. And then he walks out through the arena, obviously goes to the crowd. I will say, extremely long entrance. He shook, it must have been 100 hands he shook on his way to the ring. But it starts out hot, big blood feud, obviously, between the two. They're going at it. Cody Rhodes has a lot of offense at the beginning, but it turns out that Solo does sort of get the upper hand towards the middle part of the match. Then once Cody Rhodes does sort of start fighting back and getting some offense in, he hits his first crossroads. Tonga Loa comes out first. They attack him. They do a really cool move where it's kind of like a double team crossroads almost. Yeah. Tonga Loa was holding the feet. Tonga was holding the head, and they do kind of like a crossroads together. It looked really cool. I've never seen that move before. Yeah, they also brought up their New Japan Tag Team name on the broadcast. I don't know if they've done that before, but the Gorillas
Destiny.
Yeah, Gorillas of Destiny. But they brought that up on commentary. I don't know if they've ever done that before, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, they do that. They're kind of just basically beating Cody, and Solo already kind of has the match won. But Cody just keeps kicking out. He keeps kicking out. So what can you do to make him not kick out? And that is called Jacob Fatu to come help you. He comes in. He starts it off with like a whisper of the wind off the top rope into Cody Rhodes, goes back to the top rope, does a moonsault to Cody Rhodes. I believe he does like a Samoan drop after that or something as well. When all of that still wasn't enough, Cody Rhodes is Captain America here. He just will not stop. He will not kick out. Will not kick out, I guess I should say. But I'll let you kind of finish what happens for the latter part of this match, because that was kind of all the mess that happened.
Yeah, so Kevin Owens and Randy Orton came out. They kind of took out Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa. And then after Jacob Fatu hits a big cross body onto the announcer's table on Cody Rhodes, it looks like he injured himself. I personally think it's more of like just a way to get him out the match, so you don't have to worry about him interfering, and there's like an actual reason for it. But he can start selling his knee and tell Solo to finish Cody off in the ring. As Solo's about to win this match, we hear the head of the table music, Roman's previous music before the Bloodline, and he is finally here. He is debuted, or returned rather. And yeah, just a huge moment. The crowd goes wild when they hear the music. He finally comes out in an OTC shirt, which I believe is going to be either an original Tribal Chief or one Tribal Chief. But yeah, comes out. Once he gets closer to the ring, he starts running. He runs in the ring, hits a big Superman punch on Solo, which is pretty crazy, and then hits a spear on him. He sees Cody, gives him a little head nod, and pretty much walks off. Yeah, I really love this. It was enough involvement for him to not, get rid of the match, but enough to further the storyline between him and Cody and him and Solo.
Yeah, obviously Roman returning, just a massive pop for myself as well. Just, obviously it's just huge for SmackDown as well. Just to kind of, it's been a little boring on SmackDown to say the least, and obviously Roman is going to be a big reason to watch SmackDown going forward, especially to see his involvement with Cody Rhodes, because obviously it helped him here, but he also kind of gave him like a smirk and kind of let him know like, hey, I'm doing this, but it's not over between us. I'm coming back for my belt.
Yeah.
So you kind of know that that's going to happen at some point between them. We'll also see a Survivor Series match between all of them involved, more than likely.
Yeah.
But yeah, just a lot going on with this match. Obviously, just very exciting for Roman Reigns to come back and have our Tribal Chief back and kind of see what the real Tribal Chief does with Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu. Most importantly, I believe that's the person that everybody's really going to be looking forward to having the big face-off with. Hopefully, he's not actually injured, obviously, because that would just be a big downfall to happen right now, right as Roman returns, obviously. But yeah, that is the end of our show. That was our main event, almost 30-minute main event. We also, I guess I should mention, we had a Jelly Roll involvement between the Gunther and Cody Rhodes match. The Miz and R-Truth go out there. They kind of start just kind of
talking about the attendance and stuff.
Yeah, and giving us the attendance record. They broke the record and whatever. Grayson Waller, Austin Theory come out. They're just kind of making fun of literally everybody in the crowd, the stadium, the city. They make fun of MGK, Jelly Roll, and they're just kind of just trolling everybody. But what do you see after a while of that? You see Jelly Roll go into the ring with the steel chair, and he does end up hitting both of them. Does a really cool choke slam to Austin Theory, and yeah, just a cool moment.
Yeah, it is one of those funny ones that didn't take away from the show, and it just filled the time kind of perfectly. But yeah, really funny. Austin Theory, one of the best sellers in the company when he needs to be. Yeah, because I was like the best choke slam of all time.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, like I said, that was the end of the show. Really enjoyed it from top to bottom, essentially. I would say my weakest match is probably Liv Morgan Rhea. What is yours?
Yeah, I have to kind of agree with you there. Although the story progression is fantastic, I'm interested to see what is happening next between them two. The match itself wasn't the best. So yeah, just a little underwhelming, but it still got the point across.
Yeah, and then my favorite match of the night is going to be LA Knight defeating Logan Paul and becoming the United States champion. Just very impressive from the both of them, and I really liked it. What's yours?
Yeah, I'm about to go with Gunther and Damian, to be honest. I just love the hard-hitting action we've seen. Like I said, Gunther look weak for the first time in a while. But yeah, that's one of my favorite matches of the year, really.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely good. I'm very happy to see Finn being involved in the main event picture, potentially.
Yeah.
That's always really good, obviously. But yeah, obviously Roman Reigns returning, very huge. Can't wait to see what happens this Monday and this Friday. This is going to be a very interesting time between now and Berlin to see what storylines kind of move forward with the new top champion holders, because we did have 4 champions change over tonight. But yeah, that is the end of the video. We appreciate you guys for watching. Let us know what you thought about SummerSlam, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.